Okay. Hello, welcome to 5D All Day. I'm Danielle Kane. I'm the host of this amazing podcast on Spirit Calling, and I'm so excited to have my fellow Spirit Calling family here today. There's lots of new individuals joining us, and I'm eager to learn more about you. I briefly just shared a little bit about how this podcast even started, and I had just wanted to have high vibing conversations and learning more about people who wanted to talk about consciousness or their spiritual awakenings or what they're witnessing. So this is why we've had these conversations, and they've been going on for a while. And I know that more and more people are coming to Spirit Calling, and I'm so excited to have this participation. And this is just another way for other people to realize what a great community that there is for people that are going through some transition. So, welcome. And what we like to do is we like to go a little bit to each person just for a few minutes, just a quick introduction, a little bit about yourself and how and why you're here with Spirit Calling. So, I'm going to choose Michael just because he's been with us for a while and kick off about a little bit about what's going on.
I'm the most senior here, I guess.
Yes.
I joined last year in August. I was looking for a group that share the same perspectives on the world right now. I've sort of been a lone wolf, sort of square peg in a round hole most of my life. Um, Recently, like this past week, it's been full of synchronicities. So finding out more about my astrology and how it's hooked to Horus, Falcons. I'm looking into the royal stars of and how those are connected to my astrology and finding out my purpose, my soul purpose, and stuff like that. Did you want me to mention that or
That's
right
great.
now?
Well, would you do you know what your sole purpose did you come to find?
Well, yes. So I have six royal stars that are conjunct at my birth. Aldebaran, Baron, I guess, Regulus, Algol, and Antares. So that means for my sole purpose is speaking truth and to power, transforming through communication, facing public intensity with grace, balancing past life warrior energy with present life integrity. So
Mhm.
that's what I found out this week.
That's exciting. Do you feel like do you resonate with that?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Everything else screams that. That's like I try to be humble when I look at that stuff, and you know how you know people might get all up in the air with their stuff about esoterica, and I go, well, you get, and but like the more I resist, the more my higher self wants to push these clues towards me. So it's kind of weird.
Hmm. That's really interesting. I'm glad
Yeah,
that you shared that. I know you've been on that journey for a while, and I'm glad that you're listening to synchronicities, and you're listening to your intuition, and you're
yeah,
gonna find a lot of doors that open for you. So
yeah.
keep it up. That's lovely.
Thanks.
Thank you. Awesome. Well, hi, Tina Marie. We're just going around. I'm going to get to you in a minute. We also have Nicole Gibbs and Rose, I think it's Falk, joining us, but they're on YouTube, so they just can't be on the physical screen with us today. But Cynthia, let's go ahead and pass it on to you. Thank you
Okay.
for
Yeah,
being here.
I'm very new. I just started joining Spirit Calling, and I'm like I said, I'm very new, but for many, many years, I've done a lot of research, reading, and intuitively, I just feel much of what I'm reading, and through the council, through Larkma, and all of the beautiful souls out there that are trying to get the word out.
Mhm.
Um, I don't seem to get the vibes, get the feelings, but I know deep in my heart it's true. So I'm very new at this. I'm learning. And I'm just a newbie.
Yeah.
So I'm with community that is somewhat thinking like I am, and hopefully I can gain more knowledge, and I'll be able to incorporate things more within my life. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to do.
I loved what you said because I find that to be the case too when you start to feel like the truth, you don't have really the book textbook, right in front of you saying so, but there's something
Right.
inside. That's what led me to this path too, is I can't tell you how I know, I just know. And
Right. And
that
so
is
many
such,
people experience things. I'm not necessarily having that, but I still know the truth. So I try to keep compassion,
Mhm.
love, truth, and I try to live that
I
because
love it.
I do believe the more I do that, like we all know, it's pouring out in the world, and that's what we have to do.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, welcome and thank you for sharing
Thank
that.
you. Thanks.
Tracy, please, if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Hi, my
Hi.
name's Tracy. Like Cynthia, I also am a newbie. In fact, I have to set reminders to remind myself to come to these because it's not part of my routine and I don't like missing out.
Mhm.
Um, my spiritual awakening actually began probably around 2012. Of
Mhm.
course, 2012.
Mhm.
Um, but at that time, it was just like, I was at this really low spot in life and was asking, come on, is this what I'm here for? I was also born and raised in the Christian religion, so I had a lot of fear and a lot of rule following, and a lot of that I'm changing right now because I'm doing the whole healing from childhood traumas, and I'm here because I'm trying to enjoy life as I let go of the control. I've been a control freak my whole life for various reasons. And and I find that the healing that I'm doing on a personal level ties hand in hand with spirituality and understanding that and understanding the new truths. And there's not a whole lot of people you can talk about when you're like, oh, something happened to me energetically. I can't explain it because they just think you're going like wackadoodle.
Mhm.
So, so yeah, likewise, I've been doing a lot of internet research. I've been coming across a lot of podcasts, and all of that's great, but you feel very siloed, you feel very alone. And when you have questions, you're like, who do I ask? I can ask my husband, but he'll just roll his eyes and go, well, I don't know, because he's not into it. So
Right.
um that's why I'm here. And
Well, I think that's great. I'm glad that you're here. It's so nice to have you here. And I think conversation is what gets things moving. And it's nice to be able to talk to people about stuff that to us it doesn't sound so crazy because it's possibility. It's what we're moving into, and I can't wait to get to Tina Marie because she always has something to say about where we are, and I find it so comforting because sometimes it's like, how are we navigating right now? And I can't wait to share a little bit about what I've been experiencing and just like sorting out where everybody else is, and then it helps us all progress, in our life.
Right.
So thank you so much for sharing that as well. Okay, next, Allison, welcome.
Hi, thank
Hi.
you. Actually, I just joined Spirit Calling on Tuesday, so I've been
Oh, good.
diving into everything, and I thought, well, this sounded really interesting. And like Tracy, um, it can be very isolating when you have a spiritual awakening and everyone looks at you like, okay, and you talk about things and they just kind of glaze over, and it's like, okay, forget it, I'll just do this on my own. I've been taking workshops, courses. When the spiritual awakening happened, it led me to animal communication, which I absolutely adore. And just using my intuition, understanding the clairs, but I feel like, okay, I don't know if that's actually my sole purpose. I still feel like I need so much more to learn, but I thought, well, where am I going to learn it? And I happened to see Pamela on a YouTube with a meditation or something, and spirit calling, what's that? And I thought, okay, this is for me. It was like right away, I thought, a community of people like me. Yay. So this is why I'm here, just to
Wonderful.
join like-minded people.
I love it. That's exactly what it is. So thank you. I'm so glad that you're checking it out and being here today. It's a big step to be in this position. I mean, even putting yourselves out there like this. But like I said, this is where people are coming. People are searching for this. I was telling Pamela the other day, there was a lot of low energy that I've been around. I almost felt like, man, I better, what's happening? I thought, gosh, could it really be what I'm witnessing? And she's like, more and more people are waking up, and I know that. And with saying something, someone had made bullying comments to my son. My son's been through a lot this year. And so I decided to post like the golden rule, like do unto others what you want unto you. And that alone brought parents together that responded to that comment. And it led me to someone who actually came to my gym. I own a gym, by the way. She had sent me a message, and then we're going to co-collaborate and do some sound healing together. Like it was just because I put out something that was hurting me for my son, it brought, it opened up a door of connection. So I find that to be so amazing how it shifted. And I felt more kindness in it, to be honest. Just by putting it out there, it people that crossed my path were just being friendly or saying hello to me. And so I think there's a lot to say with being open-minded and sharing what you want to express. So thank you so much. Really, I appreciate you being here. Tina Marie.
First of all, I just want to say you are such the perfect example, living example of 5D all day. I mean, that story, that share is so, so perfect. It really, really is. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what was your question though. I don't want to get off track. What was your original question?
Whose question?
Yours. Like, why are we going? We're just introducing ourselves?
We're
Is that?
just introducing ourselves. Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, and
No,
I
that's
want,
okay.
yes, just typically because I know you've been here before. We were
Yeah.
just kind of introducing how we found Spirit Calling, if we've
Oh,
had any kind of awakening or what drew us to this group.
okay. Great. And one more thing, I just wanted to say, Cynthia and you, Danielle, you're both claircognizant.
Yeah.
Claircognizant means a knowing. It's a clear
Mhm.
knowing. And that is one of the clairs. You know, we have clairaudio, we have clairvoyant, we have clairsentient. You are claircognizant, and that means you have clear knowing. So you won't get information the same way that everybody else does that may be empathic or can see things or feel things. Your first drawing of information or your first connection to that is with your knowing. So,
Mhm.
so you don't have to feel like you're behind in the game or you're like off track somehow. It's your gift, and it's a strong gift. It's a wonderful gift to have.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for that.
You're welcome.
What
Okay.
about a sense of smell, man? I can smell anything. I
Yeah,
once we
that
had a
is
hound
actually
dog.
a thing. Yeah, that is actually a real thing. There's a name for it. I can't remember, and I included it in one of my courses, and I can't
Yeah.
remember it. But
It-
yeah, it is a real thing. And smell too.
yeah.
There's one with smell and taste. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, it is. I have a very strong sense of smell, almost to like a fault, because like I can like be in a room, like I smell something, and I'm like,
Right.
it can be overwhelming.
And no one else does, right?
Everyone's like, what's the matter?
That is so funny. But it's great because that's one of your senses. That's one of your superpowers.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's see. I had an awakening, a spontaneous awakening back in 97. And it was based on a man who had studied with the Kahuna Indians of Hawaii, and he had received how to do how to help people journey, and it was before I even knew what journeying was. And anyway, through my sessions with him, I was living in Japan at the time. I had a spontaneous awakening, and then I had really the dark night of the soul. And the dark night of the soul followed because the spontaneous awakening was me really reconnecting and putting my heart back into my chest because it hadn't been there. And so in that, all of the beliefs that I had about myself as a child had just basically like just exploded. And it was really challenging. But the first way that I came into channeling was through clear audio, because I would journal every morning for 20 minutes for like 90 days straight. And I knew that what I was writing wasn't coming from me, because it was coming through in poems I had never done before. And I called them the Book of Unpoems, because the titles were always about something, undoing, unlearning, something. And so from there, it just grew. I had also been following my dreams because of an experience I had back in '85. And so the messages were coming through my dreams, and I thought that was extremely important. And it turns out. And I wrote a book about it and how to decipher your own messages. And then later, about a decade after I had my awakening, it took me a while to integrate everything that was coming up and coming through, and really learning to be authentic with me, or being authentically me, instead of what I had been taught, as I was taught while I was growing up. And that's when my clairvoyance started to come through, and I started to get messages, and I started channeling.
Mm.
And so that pretty much is where it got started. And I came to Spirit Calling because of Dina. I knew Dina, and Dina introduced me to Pamela. And it was just, it was a love fest. So
That's great.
I fell in love right then. And then I found you.
Exactly. And you brought so much to this place, I want to call it a platform or just a disconnection. I feel like I know you so well, and that's the one thing that's so nice, is you can go and come to a place where if you're needing a little bit of just insight, you've been very clear. So thank you for, because
Thank
even
you.
when you have some doubts, like I'm like, should I be doing this? And oh, am I on the right path? And I appreciate your validation on some things. So
You're welcome. Thank you.
wonderful. All right, Sam, I wasn't sure if you were ready. Do you want to share a little bit? Wonderful.
Sorry, I never know what button to press.
Oh, it's always so hard on your phone. It's like scrolling.
Okay. Yeah, I just dropped my kids off at golf camp, so
Awesome.
all of us were listening to you. They've never listened to anything like this before, so it was very cute. They were interested. I actually just got introduced to spirituality 2 months ago. Since then, my husband died 34 months ago, and my life has been really scary
Yeah.
since then. And he had a sports bar that started going under after he died, and I had huge tax bills, and I thought I was going to lose everything and become homeless. Actually, that was what I was worried about. And then I listened to a couple of spiritual podcasts kind of accidentally, and someone introduced me to this concept of, you chose this life, you chose all your challenges before you came here. And as soon as I heard that, all of the fear disappeared at that moment that I had. And I was so relieved to know that if I chose it, that means I can handle it, that I'll survive it. And since then, I've listened to like probably 7 books on spirituality. Like, I'm just going through it really quickly. And one I read was, your soul's purpose. And so right now I'm trying to figure out my soul's purpose. I've gone down other paths, but I think really for me, finding out my soul's purpose is really the only thing I'm kind of interested in right now. And yeah, this is the first call I've been on. The first time I've had a conversation with anybody about this.
Wow.
The fact that Mother Nature is ascending, and we all have to raise our vibrations to help her. Like, I keep saying that to people, to random people, and everyone I say it to, their eyes open wide, and it just like cheers them up.
I think you found your purpose.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes it's
Well,
just that. It's just showing up and just being that beacon of light. And I hope that you're okay, with everything. I really appreciate what you shared because that was such a big transition. And to surrender and let go of fear is one of the biggest things I think in the spiritual path. And that's where the awakening
it's
really,
incredible. Yeah, it has been the most incredible experience, and I'm just so grateful that it happened to me because I thought I had completely lost control of my life, and that no matter what I did, I was going to lose everything because the tax people just kept coming after me.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
um, anyway, yeah, I'm 2 months in, and I feel like it's been completely life changing for me.
Hmm. Wonderful. And you're going to be okay. Absolutely. This is just the start. It really is the matrix. I look at the tax people as they're the agents. I mean, I've been in a very similar situation to you. I had my spiritual awakening kind of hit right before I was technically hitting rock bottom. We had lost a business in COVID. We had two fitness businesses. One was like a ninja gym. And I felt out of control. I didn't know what we could do. I wasn't providing for my family. I'm a homeschooler. I don't know what I'm doing. And I ended up having a hypnotherapy session. I did quantum healing hypnosis and connected with this spirit that had crossed over that was in my life. And he had died 30 years ago. I didn't know what that was. And then I was just allowing, and ultimately it said, you're my branch. I was at a crossroads and I was ending that crossroad and moving on to another path with my kids. And I had to learn to let go and surrender. So as soon as I said that, I said to my husband, I said, listen, whatever happens, we can just let everything go. We're going to be okay. It's not what it appears to be, but I was
Oh,
okay to let everything go. And this is before we did have to file bankruptcy and all that stuff, which honestly, it was a weird thing because it was just all about playing a game. It's not really real because they reset you and to a number that they want you to be at. But we were able to elevate and pivot our life and start over. And it really saved my family. It saved my marriage. It allowed me to expand in my spirituality because I was holding on so tightly to something that I didn't even know what I was holding on to. An old life, I guess. I had to let that life pass and create something new. So sometimes uh, these things can come in these difficult ways, but you will rise above. It's almost like moving up a
yeah.
level.
I mean, it's been crazy. And also, I wanted to just say, what you just said about Claire knowing is so interesting because a lot of people have told me you have a knowing, which, you know, I think is true. And I have felt that way in many different ways. And so for you to say that that is a type of Claire is
Mhm.
so good to hear because, like that other lady, I have no other types of experience. I just am, what's it called? I have faith in it. But
Right.
to know that knowing is a Claire, it feels really good to hear that.
Hmm.
I wanted you to know there's a Rose that's on the call wants to give you a big hug. She's on the I don't know if you know who Rose is, but she wanted me to let you know that she's thinking of you. So we have about
We're
five
all
listeners.
hugging you.
Yeah, we're all hugging you. We have a lot of listeners
Thank
today
you.
on YouTube. So thank you, Rose, for sharing that. Um, it's amazing. I really appreciate your story. I always feel like we're here to witness, and I felt like my whole body like embody what you're going through, and I could feel it. So I really appreciate you sharing that, and hopefully this is some help to moving through.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, Tina, go ahead. Tina Marie.
It's so amazing how fast you are moving through this. I mean, it took me a decade, and not to compare or anything, but that's a long time. And you're like on the fast track. You're on the fast track. And to recognize that you created, we don't create the details of what we're to experience in this life timeline, but we do create what comes through us because it's all a part of our awakening, and it's all part of, just as Danielle said, that is how your purpose is your purpose is to share that with and it doesn't have to always be verbally. It's certainly you're sharing it with the collective, but man, you're a rock star. And
Totally.
I want you to know that you actually came in with a lot of experience. So even though you think you're just new at this, or you think you're all newbies, you may be newbie to this site, but you all come in with a very big cosmic resume. Let's put it that way. Multiple timelines, multiple multi-dimensional aspects. You've got a lot going for you. And so when these things come up, they're just activating. They're activating those memories that all of that has been encoded in your DNA. And so you're here living it. Kudos to you.
I love it. I love Tina Marie on these calls. It's like you're like, you validate everything. It does. It's so comforting, because I don't have those talents that you have. So I appreciate having someone with your abilities to be here and to provide some feedbacks. Is it Sonja? Is that how you pronounce it? Take your time. Whoop.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Welcome.
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Sonia.
Oh, Sonia. Okay.
Hi.
Hi, welcome. Tell us a little bit about
Thank
yourself.
you. Tell us. Yeah. It's I'm confused. I guess I don't know where I fit in.
You've
I
come
don't
to
know
the
where I
right place.
belong. Yeah, it's like this. I have, I know I have ADHD, which I never, they didn't know. Well, I thought I did, but then they told me I didn't, and now they're telling me I do. So I'm confused.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, I don't want to cry. Okay, so
Please
I've
do,
been,
because that's going to let it come out.
well, then
So
I can't talk, and then I can't talk.
just let it all come out. That's why we're here.
Thank you.
I'm crying with you. Okay.
The pain is too much. Okay. Okay, stop. I've been through one trauma after another as I look back. And so it's a constant trauma. So I'm trying to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
I'm managing. So yeah. I mean, I was in the hospital in December, so it hasn't been that, half a year. Psych hospital. So it's I don't know. I've had ECT. I've been on like 30, 35 meds in my life. They don't work. It's me. It's my fault, so
No.
that's it.
It's not your fault. I'm going to tell you right now, and this is what I'm telling you intuitively. They don't know how to handle someone that is as powerful as you. That's the problem. You're way beyond the frequency. And you're
Wow.
you're
Say
not
that.
they'll still use these terms ADD to categorize you, but you're just at a higher
I
frequency.
know. And I'm educating myself. That's the only thing. Educating myself and listening. Cryon actually saved my life, I feel, back in 22. I was listening to him. I'm like, wow. I don't know what unconditional love feels like. I've always thought that unconditional love, I found a book in my teens that I read, and it was like, wow, like Unconditional Love by Leo Buscaglia. I'll never forget it. So, yeah, it's like, I don't know. I learning to love myself is my biggest hurdle right now. I love everybody. I love everything. It's myself.
Yeah.
And so ketamine, I'm on that. That's been a miracle for me because I quit drinking right afterwards. It was like a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still on it, and it's keeping me. That's why I feel like, and it's helped me in other ways. And I can't be on ADHD medicine, or I haven't found anything that helps. So the ketamine actually, I noticed, does help my concentration a little more. I think because I can help me relax because I have I feel it's neurological. So yeah, I have restless legs. I have misophonia, which is a crazy thing. It's awful to have. They didn't even know what the name of this that was quite a revelation back when my therapist in my 40s, maybe late 40s, 50s. I mean, it hasn't been long. She told me there's a name for that. And I thought it was, I got punished for it when I was little. I got punished for something I didn't understand. I didn't know what was wrong with me. So, and now my middle daughter has it really bad. And I trigger her. So it's hard to be around her. So it's a really hard thing. It's hard to be in a relationship with that. I think it's really messed up my relationships, having misophonia. So it's a lot of things.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've 2.5 years I've been without, like, now I'm searching and I'm trying to figure. I just can't make decisions. Well, can't. I shouldn't say can't. I'm having a hard time making decisions and where to start, because I did try psycho-spiritual healing last June. And then I did an Akashic record reading in the fall. And I thought, well, maybe shamanic. Maybe I tried to start that shamanic journeying or something, and I couldn't seem to get anywhere. Maybe I wasn't ready. I don't know. I'm in search. I thought, well, maybe ayahuasca. Should I go do that? It's like maybe a psilocybin. Maybe that'll work. Maybe, all these questions in my mind, and I'm scattered.
No, I think you put it a lot there. Tina,
I know.
I think wants to respond to you.
God. And I don't want to talk. I'm like, I don't want to complain. I don't want to sit and
You're not complaining. You want answers. You're asking for help. That's what I see.
And I'm here. Okay.
Yeah, you're showing up.
I'm still here.
So, Sonia, I imagine that you give yourself a really hard time for a lot of things. And so, because you've been taught that, right? Nobody's taught you
My
not to
mother
do
was
that
a nervous
otherwise.
wreck. She was a nervous wreck. I'm sorry, I'll be quiet.
No, that's okay. So my first intuitive thought for you was, for example, don't try to meditate like everybody else does, sitting quietly, because that doesn't work for you. So you can have walking meditations,
I
just
do
being
that sometimes. I do walk
excellent.
and
Yeah. And then maybe trust your intuition more. So it feels like you're very used to going outside of yourself to get the answers, or to get and there's nothing wrong with, maybe aligning with some things that other people are saying or doing. There's nothing wrong with that. I think that perhaps, though, really just going within more often, and just honoring and acknowledging what you're experiencing, what you're feeling, rather than resisting it, because otherwise it just stays, like at arm's length, and then wham, it comes and hits you again. And trust your intuition more, because you're highly intuitive, and everybody's been telling you that you're not. Yeah, you're very intuitive. Listen to that more.
I don't understand it. I don't know what intuition even. I can't. Where's my heart? I don't know what to. I don't know what it. I don't know.
So
Where is it?
that self-love that you were talking about before, right? So that's like no conditions love, unconditional love, no judgment there. And when you're in that space, then things will just kind of come from within you. It won't be so externally oriented. It'll be coming from within you. That's your own intuition. Then you just acknowledge it.
Sonia, I just want to let you know that Nicole Gibbs is on this on the YouTube side. She couldn't be here, but she did say she would love to create you a custom sound healing. I don't know if you know that she does that for fellow spirit calling members. She can't make it, but she's offered that. So maybe you guys can connect on the Nicole when you're hearing this. Maybe you can reach out to her directly. But sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make sure that that was sent out there. I think that just to kind of complete some things is that there's a lot I can tell that you're still holding on as far as
Oh,
pain. Uh,
oh,
and
yeah.
that's going to take some time to process. I think that like the one thing that you said that I can highly relate to is not loving yourself. I can tell you I could love everybody else but myself until recently. And a lot of that was forgiving myself for not loving myself, if that makes any sense. And I had to
Yeah,
come to that place.
yeah, it's the inner child. Now I have something I need to read. I have a nice big, there was an inner child group in town, and I got a big, I don't know, book, kind of a book. Maybe if I focusing is my difficulty. And
Mhm.
so trying to, like, I have also that it was like neurolinguistic programming was suggested to me, and I've
Mm,
got a book on it. I'm trying to figure out how to read that. How am I going to, because I'm trying to take care of my body first because my body was in such bad shape. And so now I'm starting to do better with whole foods but that concentration and then the chronic pain, I can't always be in the kitchen like I want to be because then my neck starts hurting. It's all these
yeah,
trying to figure out how to work everything just to take care of myself.
yeah, yeah.
But
Baby
I don't, it's the connection I'm missing. I feel like I'm not living. I don't know where to live. Should I move to Minnesota with my sister and brother-in-law who have no one? She's been she's been on disability since her 20s. She's been, anyway, she's the closest one to me. The only support that I have really, I have 3 daughters, but I don't connect with them well. And that's another problem. I want to be able, because my one daughter told me it was right after my relationship ended. And she looked at me and says, she thought I was fakey. And I'm
Mm.
like, oh my God, I'm fakey? Oh my God. I act fakey? That was like, that was, and so I have these masks, I suppose. Okay, I have masks. How do I, so, and knowing, I don't even know who I am. That's the problem, like, that's why I don't know where, like, what do I enjoy? Joy is a problem. Joy, just enjoying something. I don't even allow myself to do that. So I'm realizing things. At least I'm realizing. I'm like, okay, the good things are, you know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm realizing more. So yeah. But the pain, yeah, I'm journaling. I'm trying to journal. And I do have moments where I just feel like time is just, where did the time go? I'm losing time. I feel like it's been, I think it takes me double time to do anything because I
Mm-hmm.
freeze. I feel like it's maybe the word came like emotional paralysis. I don't know what it is. I feel paralyzed sometimes. I can't move. Well, that's getting better, but like I don't want to breathe. And so it's really bad, like I don't even want to breathe.
Yeah, take a breath.
Yeah. And so I've learned to breathe. So
Mm-hmm.
these are good things. I don't want to do maybe Kriya yoga. I'm just like, look at,
Yeah.
oh, maybe that. I don't know which
Rather than
yoga.
going even something so basic as like box breathing, which is like holding like 4 breaths
I
in
know.
and
Yeah.
breath out, just stick with something very simple and say, I accomplished that today. You need like one thing that you need to accomplish to your standards or
Oh,
whatever,
I have
rather
to,
than having, I need to do everything all at once.
I know.
Just do one thing. Okay, I got out of bed today and I actually feel okay. That's the one thing that you could be proud of. Seriously, it has to be so simple
Yeah, and not
because put all these pressure.
expectations. It's the expectations I realize I have on myself, and letting that go is like, how, oh my gosh, I'm in a battle. I'm like in a war. It's like, okay,
Yep.
stop. I have to like, that's enough. It doesn't help. I
Yeah.
keep saying that it doesn't help. It doesn't help.
Well,
baby
thank you.
steps.
Baby steps. And I'm so glad that you got to share because I think we just
Thank you.
pushed all that out. You got it all out. So it's somewhere not in you anymore. Thank you. Because that
Yeah,
come out.
yeah.
You get to express that. And I appreciate you doing that in a safe place because some people just, you need a container where people can hear you. And we're here.
Well,
So
I
that's
never
a big
felt like
gift.
I had a voice. This is all I'm doing EMDR right now. So that is a little intense. Like I'm starting to feel, wow, maybe,
Yeah.
wow. I'm starting to have a memory that I don't, it's there, but nothing has ever been said about this memory. And I've
Yeah.
never said anything to anyone. So it's like, what do I do with this? Just shove it under the rug like I always have?
Yeah. Well,
It's not important, is what I'm saying. Like it's not important. I'm not important. So that's that. It's like, oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
That. Well, I appreciate that because that I tell you right now, I think Michael said that somebody you said earlier in the comments, Michael, I'm sorry, I have like multiple comments open. You could probably share a similar experience with a family member, didn't you say?
My wife had misophonia.
Oh my
That's
God.
not easy. That's not easy. And my
It's not
sister had it.
logical. See, I
And
tried to
my sister had it
logical.
when I was a kid. So like it, I was with her for 29 years before she passed. So
Yeah.
it's not fun. I know it's not fun for you. And
But
my daughter has ADHD, so I recognize a lot of your
oh my
problems
God.
focusing. Yeah.
Well,
So
yeah. Oh,
yeah.
misophonia. It's ruined. Yeah. I tried to educate. Okay. I had to figure out once I knew there was a name for it. Okay. Until before that, I thought I was crazy. Um, there's a name for it. That was validating. And then I tried to educate my partner because he couldn't understand. He thought, and then he was afraid of me. That was a huge thing. So he was afraid of me. And I felt like such a bad person because of like, I'm scaring him, I mean, I'm too intense. I'm too much this, too much that. And he doesn't understand. He can't even put himself in my, like, it's nobody can understand it. That's the problem. Unless you can feel it, feel what it is.
Mhm.
And
Like
yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Michael.
um you're bouncing around a lot. So I would there's a point in my life where the only goal I had was one positive thought at a time each day. So I was in a long, dark night of the soul. So my goal was to have one positive thought. And
Mm,
as long as I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, I could keep going forward with one positive thought a day. And eventually it gets faster and easier, right? So don't
Yeah.
think of too much, just simplify it. And I know how hard it is to do that with ADHD. So people tell you to focus and you're trying really hard and you can't. So
Mm.
that's how my daughter is. So I sympathize with your battle there. So, but just try to
Thank
think of
you.
one positive thought and just keep going forward and be happy with that. So
mhm.
Well, that's something. It's sweet that you said that. Is because recently it has been in my mind a goal. Just one goal for the day was to laugh,
yeah,
Mhm.
to be able to laugh. That's it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Thank you. I really thank you. I mean, I loved how community came here in such a strong way to be able to support Sanja. So Sonia, I appreciate
thank
that.
you. I
And like I
really
said,
appreciate all
I
your.
think
I
that there
do.
were some great things that was said that can be helpful. And your journeys, you're gonna I feel like what Sam said. I mean, I feel like you're equipped to handle this. I really do. And you're at your awakening moment now because you're like, what? All this stuff? This is what, and it's all happening kind of at one time. Sometimes they say the awakening isn't so pleasant. I think there was someone that I think Pamela had where all the Claires came in at once. I mean, if anyone wants to speak on that, and it can be like you're lost your mind. So don't feel like this is sometimes it feels like a blessing in disguise, right? So just take this one step at a time. And I'm telling you, you're gifted. This is might seem like a
Wow.
curse, but it's not. And your soul can handle this and you're gonna rise above it. You just gotta know how to harness your energy. It's like a stallion, how a stallion just wild.
Yeah.
It wants to do whatever it wants to do. Don't come near me. But once they know how to harness it properly, they're a beautiful creature. They're the strongest
Oh,
breed.
oh,
So
beautiful.
you're the
Yeah.
stallion, my friend.
I'm a stallion. I kind of want to know what my color was. I'm like, what color am I? And what's my, I'm trying to learn about the chakras and okay, what about these energies? Okay. And it's just like I'm overwhelmed, I guess
Yeah.
is the thing. I have a lot of interest,
Yeah.
but it's too much.
One thing. So focus on one thing. And I think it's about how you're feeling. You need to feel that first, the love for you. Start with that.
I do know that. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I forget what
Thank
I was
you.
going to say, but okay. Yeah.
We're going to go around because we have about 15 more
Yeah.
minutes.
I talk too much.
Oh,
Okay.
no, I think that was needed. I really do. And I appreciate that. Would anybody
Thank
else
you.
like to share anything now that we kind of got some things out there? This is where we go. Sometimes it is about like deep healing and someone has pain or someone has something they really want to share that they've been dying to put out there. Does anybody have anything that's calling to them that they would like to share? Go ahead, Tracy.
Um, I discovered just this past week that, like we talk about masking, I was so good at boxing up the trauma and the negative stuff that I also boxed up all the good stuff. So my entire life up until last week, I didn't know how to enjoy things. I didn't appreciate that. I was always just box everything up, throw it on the shelf, and be waiting ready for the next thing to hit, whatever that is. So I've actually been a grandma for 10 years. My oldest grandchild is 10. I
Yay.
have never lived closer than 500 miles from my grandchildren. I have three of them and a fourth on the way. So, what I've learned is that up until this point in time, I've made decisions based upon what I thought everybody else wanted from me. I've never given myself a voice at the table. And just last week, after 2 years of intensive therapy, EMDR, looking into everything, I realized what's missing is to allow myself to have feelings, to have wants, to have needs, and to start communicating them. And I'm so happy to say that I have a wonderful partner right now. I had to practice one for 15 years who controlled me for 20. So I always say, my current husband, you're my favorite, and he will be my last. But I've had to stop and go, all the decisions, right down to where I'm living in the country. Now I get to rediscover who I am. I get to rediscover what is it that I want at this point in my life. And it's scary as shit. Sorry for the word.
No,
It's confusing as all get out. One minute I'm laughing, the next minute I'm in the fetal position mentally, and the floor rocking back and forth, foaming at the mouth, going, what am I doing? So at the end of the day, though, I wouldn't have it any other way than to be right here, right now, and looking for the next positive laugh and the next smile. So that's what I'll be doing, is figuring out how do I want to change my life so that I can be more than 700 miles away from my grandchildren.
Yeah, that's wonderful. When did you discover that? Like, wow, when was that moment that you're like, I don't do things for me?
It, I don't, it was within the last 7 days.
So
And
it was recent.
I don't know exactly for sure, because when you're going through so much, we all know the memory's not the greatest. But it was just like that feeling came over me, like, that's what's missing right now. I was searching in all the wrong places, looking for love and all the, there's a song about that. But I was looking for answers. I was looking answers for everywhere. I'm like other people on the call have said, I've tried this, I've tried that, I've looked everywhere, and it was inside. The answer was here all along, but I couldn't hear it because I never gave myself a voice. So I had to do all the other work to get to this point. And now I'm here. And now the days, and I'll tell you, my job is in question. I may not be able to make it to retirement. I've only got 4 more years. I can't even decide to move right now because of my job. And I was feeling so stuck and so depressed and so pissed until I realized I have control. I can take those long weekends. I can call off. I can not work. I can go visit them if I want to. And we can look at moving. And it's not the end. And I don't have to continue living based upon choices that I made when I didn't even know who I was.
Wow. I'm glad this is on live because that was amazing what you just said.
I don't even know what I said.
You just
Okay.
broke
Talk about the
through.
knowing.
You
Yeah,
broke through a reality that you created that you thought you needed to be in, and you just broke free of it because you knew that you didn't have to, and it was all a choice. And you just didn't listen to think that could be a choice, and you just broke free. Tina, go ahead. Tina Marie.
Tracy, welcome to the real you.
Yes.
That is so amazing. And it really is liberating to step away from all of the self-limiting beliefs that you have grown up with. I went through the same thing. That's what my dark night of the soul was after my spontaneous awakening. I had to unlearn all of those things that I thought were defining me and true about me, and they were all not true. And so I see you, we all see you, and welcome to you. Welcome to authentic you. It's beautiful. You're beautiful. And I do want to remind you, though, you did come in going through that process so that you could share that just like you did with everybody. And now you're helping others remember, because that's what you're doing. You're remembering you.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because it made me remember something else I wanted to share. Um, Probably about 6 months ago, I spontaneously was journaling, didn't realize what I was doing, and I wrote out my sole purpose is to speak my truth, to encourage others, and to be the catalyst for positive change.
Mm.
And at that point in time, I thought I had to learn how to become a podcaster and write a book and do all this. And I was freaking out over that. And now I know this is all I need to do. I just need to show up and share my truth and to
Mhm.
encourage others. And sometimes it's that simple. I don't have to be a Pamela or a Tina or anything else. I can
I
just
love
show up.
you. I just can
Yes.
tell you, I mean, I feel you so deeply. I'm so excited for you. I am so excited because that is 5D. That's where we're going. It is.
Bonus.
That's
Didn't
where
even
we
know it.
are. That's the consciousness shift because we can do whatever we want. We were told we can't. We're told not to dream. We're told not that we can't make a shift like that, but we can. We can do it tomorrow. This whole world could shift that fast, but it's happening, and I have to be very patient. But you saying what you're saying is why I'd have this 5D all day broadcast because it fills me up that you in 7 days figured it out. And what are you going to do to share everybody? Everyone's going to see you so high vibing and light, and they're going to be like, Tracy, what's going on? And then something's going to happen to them, and it's going to ripple to the next person, and to the next person, and to the next person. And that's what this does. Because you just lit me up. I can't wait to go talk to somebody. I am. I'm so psyched. Like I'm pumped. It really fills me up. I'm just really I want to know, Cynthia, I feel like anyone, Allison, that you're just kind of going through this. I mean, I know that you guys are going through stuff like that has to be liberating because to jump on and be like, I want to be among people like this, you're right on the brink of something. I know it. Whether it be with animals, with your family, with your life, with your shifting, there's something big happening. I don't know if anybody else wants to share about what that is. And Sam too, like oh, I just, what your story was so powerful. I'm just supporting you in any way. And it's the fact that, you made it today and was able to share that. I mean, this has been I feel like we've time traveled to like multiple places today. It was so much energy. See what you did, Sonia? You brought us all over. We got to go through every experience.
Bead of
Oh,
light.
Yeah.
it's beautiful. Everything I'm hearing is beautiful. I'm just, I have a question. If I can,
Yeah.
I was going to put it in the chat, but
Okay.
to Tina, you said how did you start that relearning? Like what helped you with your beliefs, about yourself or how you were saying?
Yeah, I had to, well, first of all, it was pretty intense. And I was already an adult. Like I was already, what, 35 years old. So that was a heck of a lot of unlearning. And I had relationships based on that. I had, everything that I was doing in my life was based on these old beliefs. Um, and they were beliefs that are common, I think. Number one, we believe that we're not worthy. We believe that we're separate from, and we believe that we don't deserve it. There's a whole bunch of those there, right? And they're just all a bunch of
Yeah.
lies, basically. But it's okay because as soon as we start to, I mean, like Tracy, she's moving through this in a rapid way. And I think everybody does, but everybody goes at their own pace. But it's really simply about knowing that the truth, the greater truth is there. The greater truth is that we are one, or that we are one with Source, one with God, however you believe it. We're one with each other, that we are love ourselves. So if we're made of love, then we can't be unlovable. There's no unloving us, there's no deserving it. I don't have to do that next thing to deserve the love that I am because I already am that. And that natural state of joy, that just, once you wipe away all the other stuff of limitations, then that natural joy flows. Then it becomes much easier. And I found that when I was writing, when I was journaling and writing everything that I was experiencing from, oh, it was just, just horrible. And everything I was experiencing, then things started falling by the wayside. And I started to heal. And light workers would show up exactly at the right time I needed them to show up. And, some energy work would be done, some more journeying would be done, some more things would just occur. And I followed it. I just kept intuitively following it. And as I did, I really connected to my own intuition more and stopped ignoring it, and it became so much more about that, the authenticity, which is why I said welcome to you, the authentic you, Tracy, because that's the real you. That's what you are naturally. You are that. All the other stuff is a whole bunch of other BS. But all purposeful, and yet there you are being really you, authentically you.
Mm.
That answered your question.
What made me think of imagination. Like I want to develop my imagining, not being able to, that's important, right?
Yeah.
To
Well,
imagine something.
yeah, so imagination is one of those things that we forget. Like, so when we're 5 years old, we're super imaginative, right? We've got no limitations. We can fly, we can do whatever we want. We talk to the to galactic beings or spirit guides or angels or people who've crossed over. We're like we have so much imagination, and it's like our dream state. Our dream state has no limitation whatsoever. It's our awakened state where we put our mind into it and we start to bring in all the limitations and the parameters of what we should be or how it should look. And so when you use your imagination, that is right there. That's your cue card. Uh,
Um,
that's your opening to the door, like just to let yourself.
well, that's the thing. Learn I feel like I'm blocking that, even that, being able to even imagine, it's like, oh, you know, so yeah, it's not like you say, it takes a while.
Yeah.
For me, it did.
It takes a while.
You have a lot of support.
That lot.
I wanted to,
Thank
if you
you.
don't mind me coming off of what you're saying too, and I feel like for me personally, there's something that I needed, like my body needed more activity than I was getting. And once I started getting that activity, my body started getting in like a metabolic state that was like a youthful, like after having children and then kind of supporting everybody else and not doing something for myself, I realized I just needed more activity and I feel like vibrant. And it was more about, I don't have earth in my chart at all. So I just needed to be more grounded. I needed to be in my body than instead of outside of my body. So there's something that you're going to connect with And it's right now, I think it's love and happiness. I think it's very simple. Joy. You said it already. Like finding the things that maybe you really enjoyed, that maybe someone said, Sonia, you can't have this. There was a lot that seemed like got taken out of your world because they just didn't understand that you're going to be able to put back into your world because that
Well,
brings joy.
yeah. People used to look in, I was always depressed in school, and I couldn't figure this out, but I go by people and they just always ask me, what's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong? And what am I going to tell them?
Yeah.
But it was a lot. It was a lot of people. Like I noticed that. And I'm like, boy, what do I? And then I got self-conscious. I'm very self-conscious.
Yeah.
Just killed me. Anyway, that's it.
I feel like Sonia, I feel like you had a major blast of 5D,
Mm-hmm.
and then you were trying to bring it all into the 3D physicality, like all at once, everything, everywhere, all at once, right? And I feel like it doesn't, like you're kind of stuffing it all into a limited space right now until you learn to expand those parameters and expand those limitations and move into shifting your perspective about what is occurring for you. And then as you do that, I feel like then you really, really adjust. But it's going to take a little bit of the human idea of time. It's going to take a little bit.
Yeah, I think I do need to read this neuro-linguistic programming book because that's the Akashic record. When I had that reading, that's what she told me.
Okay.
And I thought, well, maybe I need to read that.
Yeah. Make
and
that goal.
try to change, because my perspective, just like you're saying, it's been I need to change my perspective. I keep saying that to myself,
Yeah.
and you just said it.
Yeah, it's going to happen. And I think you're already telling yourself, but just give yourself baby steps, right? One thing at a time, and make sure it's bringing you joy. Make sure it's bringing you joy. So,
yeah. Well, I tend to be
And
I want to be childlike, because I didn't
Yeah.
have a childhood. And then people think I'm weird.
No, we got to run around.
Everybody in my life thought I
Go.
was weird. Okay. So I don't know how to act, because I'm kind of goofy, or whatever it is. And then I'm like, you're weird.
We got to have that spirit calling retreat soon so we can all just be running around like children.
I want to be. I love my grandchildren. I have more joy with the children than anything.
That's
And
good. Be with the children. That's it.
Yeah.
Because whoever said we were adults, we just told ourselves that we're an adult. We're still that same soul, right?
I mean, it's obvious we were taught to be a certain way. We were taught because look at children, look at babies, they're angels.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just makes sense. I mean, it's like, look what we do to each other.
I know. Nuts. I love that you're laughing though, because that brings me a lot of joy. I feel like you're
well, I have to laugh or I'll go crazy. Okay.
Yeah.
So
well, good. Well, I want to thank you all. It is time. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks so much for opening up and sharing your stories. I really appreciate it. It was nice to meet all of you. And for anyone that was on YouTube watching or with us, if you're interested in trying and being with the community, it's spirit-calling.com. There's a 7-day free trial. You can always join us again and on these really cool meetings that we have throughout the month. But I just want to thank you guys again. I really appreciate it. And we'll be next month. I'm doing it on the 25th of July. So Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So thanks again.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you,
care,
Danielle.
everybody.
Thank you all. Bye.